The chairman of the board Naftogaz Ukraine, Andrew KOBOLEV, can leave the post after the government decided not to renew his contract. How this might affect the gas industry in Ukraine and international relations, in particular with Gazprom and the EU. The Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine has announced a competition for the position of chairman of the board. Naftogaz Ukraine has informed on 6 March, Prime Minister Vladimir Groisman. Andriy KOBOLEV declared that is not going to resign. At a press conference he said that the announcement by the government of the contest for the post of NAC contradicts the Ukrainian legislation. In late February, the supervisory board of Naftogaz has decided to extend the contract with KOBOLEV for 3 years, until the end of 2022. As reported by AP, his salary was set at over $2 million in a month. Last year, the supervisory board of the Naftogaz of Ukraine has decided to pay bonuses to the management board of the company in connection with the victory in the Stockholm Arbitration Court over the Russian Gazprom. Approved the size of bonuses was 1% from winning amount $2.56 billion. The first part in the amount of $20.7 million employees paid in May. Andriy KOBOLEV them got $7.8 million. But when he leaves, if this happens, there is the question of how people in his place will be able to cope with judicial matters according to Gazprom, said the expert. According to him, KOBOLEV in this question worked perfectly. Andriy KOBOLEV has good relations with Euro-Atlantic partners and partners from the United States. He is a good specialist, well respected in the expert community, adds Mr. Dyachenko. This company does not belong to KOBOLEV. Main shareholder, the state of Ukraine. While she is in public ownership, the shareholder has the right to decide who to fire, who not to fire, said the director of energy programs of Razumkov Center Volodymyr Omelchenko. Naftogaz is a purely commercial company. And to engage in public policy has the government, the Ministry of Energy, the National Regulatory Commission of Energy and others involved in the reform of the authorities, said the expert. He adds, Naftogaz and its leadership talking about strategic security issues, although it would be necessary, if this was done the cabinet. This is not the competence of the Naftogaz to address the issue of security. His flaws, a bad status of settlements within the country, says co-chair of the Energy Strategies Foundation Dmytro Marinich, recalling the tens of billions of hryvnia debt Teplocommunergo. Changes in the leadership of Naftogaz will have no impact on negotiations with Gazprom. Today there are no negotiations underway, because Gazprom took a break until the presidential elections, recalls Vladimir Omelchenko. The expert stressed that until the new contract on the transit, which will be concluded by 2020, the leadership of Naftogaz is unlikely to have any relevance. The new contract is likely to enter into a new system operator of the gas transportation system, which will be created as a result of unbundling, partition, on the demand of our European partners and the legislation of Ukraine, said the expert. Naftogaz had to make such tariffs and conditions that would be attractive to continue transit. If these conditions are not met, adds Mr. Omelchenko, such things to find people of higher rank, the Prime Minister, the President of Ukraine. In this kind of negotiation is provided by the Cabinet Directive, because they affect a huge range of issues, and it is not only the competence of Naftogaz, said the expert. Dmytro Marinich believes that the negotiations with the EU KOBOL is not a key person, although important. But according to experts, the EU is unlikely to target specific people. He said there was enough critical remarks from the European institutions in relation to persons and activities KOBOLEV. There are statements of the energy community, but that they are concerned about the pace of implementation of the reform of the separation of Naftogaz, KOBOLEV, which already manages the 5th year, said the expert. At the time the government approved a decree on the division of Naftogaz. Now understand what is happening. KOBOLEV himself had approved the plan and trying to implement it, in fact, without the support of the cabinet, ostensibly, the supervisory board gave him good, adds Mr. Marinich. He says that now Ukraine is counting on the support of Europe in matters of pressure on Gazprom, and the signing of the transit contract to the transit of gas through territory of Ukraine is not stopped from 1 January 2020. According to experts, preservation of transit is more important for Ukraine than the construction of Nord Stream-2, which, as the expert believes, will happen anyway.